Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we remember the lives lost in a tragic event that happened here in the Commonwealth. And one Eastern Kentucky community says a final goodbye to a true hero.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, 5:32 here. I'm Dakota Makris, and we finally made it to Friday. And boy, are Brandon and I jazzed about that. Well, Brandon, wait, you're actually working tomorrow.
I'm filling in for Cameron tomorrow evening,
well,
and you're on call this
so
weekend.
I'm sure you'll call me about something. I don't.
Here is the thing. Leave the split screen up for just a second because I want him to see it, both of us. I'm the on-call news manager this weekend, and every time I'm the on-call news manager, something breaks. And Dakota is the on-call reporter this weekend. So when we work together, it's always...
But what kills me is I'm also a news manager, but they won't put me on. Steve and I actually talked about it. Oh, sorry, he actually talked about it. He said, Dakota, I'll make you a news manager and reporter on call the same day. I said, you can't do that because I won't call myself in.
There you go. But yeah, so this weekend could be interesting for that. All right, let's get into it this morning there, and we're going to see conditions across the region. Okay, so far a little cloudy at some spots, like US 119 up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain. We're also going to see temperatures in the 40s and 50s, so kind of a milder morning as you head out the door. 49 in Charleston, West Virginia, and Middlesboro, Kentucky, and then we've got 56 in London is our warm spot. So that's kind of a range this morning, upper 40s to upper 50s for the most part there. 73 this afternoon, sunrise at 6:40, sunset at 8:22, a mix of clouds and then sun in between, and then more clouds later on as stray rain chances build into the region. Better rain chances come tonight. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Today marks the anniversary of a tragic event in Kentucky. A mother and her 5 children died in Bath County 2 years ago after their horse and buggy overturned in a swift-moving creek. Since then, emergency leaders have been working on ways to better notify members of the Amish community of weather situations because of their religious beliefs. The Amish don't watch TV or listen to radio. Leaders in Bath County teamed up with the National Weather Service to come up with a new initiative.
While we can't stop loss of life, we can educate and we can get information to people and they can make better choices. We realize there is a hole and we need to fill that hole, not just for weather safety information, but for being able to get information into those communities in a way which would benefit them, but also would fit their lifestyle.
Well, since that incident, first responders and the National Weather Service worked together to help spread life-saving information to those who live a self-sufficient lifestyle. An Eastern Kentucky family is grieving the loss of their patriarch. Letcher County native and World War II veteran Dan Combs died at the age of 102 this past weekend. Friends tell us he loved his family and the Letcher County community.
He'd never been more than 10 miles away when he went off for World War II to Liverpool, England for his service.
He was a business owner, he had a lot of land, he was very active in his church and a lot of community engagements.
We're also told Dan loved being the center of attention and telling jokes. The family of a murdered University of Kentucky student faced his killers yesterday in court. Last month, Justin Smith, Roman Gonzalez, and Efrain Diaz pleaded guilty in connection to Jonathan Kruger's death. Gonzalez admitted to pulling the trigger during a robbery attempt in 2015. Gonzalez was sentenced to a total of 35 years in prison. Smith was sentenced to 34 years, and Diaz was sentenced to 20 years.
It doesn't change up anything in the long run, but I feel like there's some responsibility and accountability, and I hadn't really felt that up till today.
At one time, prosecutors said they would seek the death penalty for Smith and Diaz. Gonzalez was not eligible because he was a minor when the shooting happened. The death penalty was taken off of the table before plea agreement was reached. The Kentucky State Police Electronic Crimes Branch arrested a man in McCracken County on charges related to child sexual abuse. The crime branch team reported they arrested 33-year-old Zacharias S. Shiflett. The team began an investigation after they discovered he was sharing images of child sexual exploitation. He is charged with 90 counts of possession and 4 counts of distribution. Well, the former owner of Creech Funeral Home in Middlesboro was indicted on felony charges Tuesday by a Franklin County grand jury. Clyde Creech is facing 38 counts of violating the trust provision for pre-need payments for funeral goods and 1 count of theft by failure to make required disposition of property. The indictment states that Creech committed the offenses between 1994 and 2014. 2 people are being charged after a series of burglaries and thefts. Stevie Anderson and Julie Clark were arrested in Powell County. Well, deputies spotted the 2 in a stolen car. Investigators believe it was involved in the burglaries and thefts. Those were in at least Montgomery, Clark, and Powell counties. The 2 have been charged with receiving stolen property and controlled substance possession. Both were taken to the Powell County Detention Center. Family and Children's Center officials say the Kentucky Derby is the 2nd largest event in the U.S. for human trafficking. The Junior League of Louisville has teamed up with the SOAP Project for the Soap Up the Kentucky Derby volunteer event on Saturday. Volunteers will label bars of soap and makeup wipes with information about where victims can get help before giving them to 150 hotels, motels, and restaurants in the area ahead of the Derby on May 7th. A legal officer is dealing another blow to horse trainer Bob Baffert. Baffert is fighting suspensions in multiple states because of medication violations. A hearing officer recommends the New York Racing Association ban him for 2 years. Churchill Downs already blocked him from the next 2 Kentucky Derbies. Baffert's team has 2 weeks to respond to the officer's recommendation. After no public events for 2 years, the Kentucky Horse Park was alive with fans on Thursday. Well, the event was canceled in 2020 for the first time in 42 years because of the pandemic. In 2021, it only saw a closed doors event. But yesterday, the Land Rover Kentucky 3-day event kicked off with events and a crowd.
We really missed our spectators. You know, they were usually the cross-country course that's on Saturday. It's packed with spectators, and we have a big tailgating area on Saturday for cross-country. We missed that a lot last year, and it's back and better than ever.
The event will wrap up on Sunday with stadium jumping. Tickets are still available. People in Prestonsburg got a chance to listen to some hometown musicians Thursday evening before the main event this weekend. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more from the Kinfolk Kickoff, the official kickoff show for the 2nd annual Sunday Best Kinfolk Reunion.
The Kinfolk Reunion is back this weekend, and Sunday Best hosted a Kinfolk Kickoff show Thursday evening.
This is more of an intimate show with Sunday Best, so they're going to be playing acoustically, a lot more interaction with the audience and discussion of their songwriting and their storytelling.
Got our kinfolk here.
Nicholas Jamerson and Christopher Bentley of Sunday Best both agreed they were ready to leave the winter blues behind.
I think it's always good to have something right into the spring to get people out of that wintertime lull. So it was the hardest winter for me yet. So I'm ready to bust out, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel the same.
And officials say the Kinfolk Reunion is a perfect way to do so, inviting folks out not just for a concert.
It's hard to explain it. It's more than just music and a concert. It's a feeling. It's an amazing experience to be together, and I expect that and even more this time around.
But an opportunity to truly experience Appalachia.
This is probably out of any place in the world right where I'd want to be right now. I know it excites me and Nicholas both to be able to be one of the reasons that they can come here and experience what's home to us.
Inviting all the kin to celebrate Eastern Kentucky in song. In Prestonsburg, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, I think I'll be heading out there tonight. Sunday Best will be taking the stage at Archer Park tonight and tomorrow night at around 8 p.m. with several musicians to kick off each night starting at 5 p.m. There will also be a Kidfolk reunion on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for children who may have sensory overload issues, and from 12 to 2 it is open to the public for anyone 17 or younger. Well, tickets go on sale today for a second Garth Brooks concert happening at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. The show is scheduled for May 13th. There's a second show on the 14th that has already been scheduled. You can buy tickets starting this morning at 10 o'clock. Well, just ahead this morning, a sequel is in the works for the current highest grossing movie of the year. We'll have those details on the way.
I can tell you something else you can buy tickets for, to a race on the 14th. There you go. Just another shameless plug there. Anyway, let's talk about the forecast. It could be a bit dreary at times across the region today as rain chances work their way through in waves throughout the weekend. I'll tell you when you can see them. About 3 minutes.